Debates still continue about what is space and how it can be described. For the Cartesian and Euclidean way of thinking, space can be measured by its own dimensions and size. But can we really understand space just only by its geometry? Or in other words, do we perceive the space with only its shape? In the last centuries, the subject of space has begun to be evaluated in many frameworks. Space now means more than its physical dimension. We could feel it with our senses and keep it in our memories. The space had broad of meanings hidden behind it. The places are mostly where our everyday life is building inside and where can be emphasized as living place for us. It is just a piece of space that we could only be aware of it. Many places such as the city and neighborhood where we live in, the street where our childhood has passed, the cafe where we meet with our friends are places that give us the feeling of being in there existentially, are recorded with the living experiences in our memories. Lefebvre was talking about this when defining the space. According to him, there were different spatial distinctions such as space of representation and representational space. In the general framework, it divided space into spaces that are conceived, perceived, and lived on. Fictionalized spaces, programmed cities, designed structures were seen as representational spaces. Representation of these spaces was recreated in a frame with thought and expression as a duty of an architect. It was impossible to think of space without time and experience. Evaluating space in terms of living practices, belonging, and historicity became a tradition that continued later. So much so that Marc Augé didn't consider spaces devoid of such elements as space and called them non-places. So, is spacelessness really possible? When we say spacelessness, should we imagine an environment like the movie of Matrix, where there are no reference corners or walls, and where we are out of time? As mentioned before, space now expresses much more in such physical properties, so spacelessness should be expressed as such. If we think of spacelessness as the opposite of space, it will not be wrong to imagine a space where our perceptions are weakened, memories are destroyed, and relationships are broken. It is described in the movie of Medieneras that modern cities with developed appearance have become dislocated.
¿Qué se puede esperar de una ciudad que le da la espalda a su río? Estoy convencido de que las separaciones y o divorcios, la violencia familiar, el exceso de canales de cable, la incomunicación, la falta de deseo, la abulia, la depresión, los suicidios, las neurosis, los ataques de pánico, la obesidad, las contracturas, la inseguridad, el hipocondrismo, el estrés y el sedentarismo son responsabilidad de los arquitectos y empresarios de la construcción.
Relationships in the city are now disconnected. The sense of belonging has disappeared and life has become invisible. But does spacelessness always give a scary and negative feeling? No. Another look is also possible. The spacelessness gives hope to new specialities. Abandoned cities, destroyed houses, or non-living environments away from the city were described as emptiness. Although such spaces seem to be spaceless, as mentioned in Sora Morales' terrain wash concept, they actually give possibility to unexpected spatial practices, thanks to the different spatial potentials that they contain. Just like this ruined building was used by some young people as a skate area. Another similar example is the children's playgrounds building after the Second World War in Amsterdam by Aldo van Eyck. He used the potential of these urban areas which remained vacant after the World War and where life ended. He filled them with the children's voices and play, opening the door to a revolutionary transformation. Because game is a subject unexpected, reconstructed, and it is limitless every time. It set its own rule and breaks it again. This is the pleasantness of freedom, where there is no defined boundary. As can be seen in both examples, it allows more free, unexpected new spatial practices in non-localized spaces. Spacelessness can also be measured in suburban areas, away from the city and everyday life. Our way only passes to such places while traveling. Usually, it's difficult to even remember these places during our time on the highway. For this reason, in theory, these places are accepted as non-places. In these images, I couch in the train window frame on the way of Guimarães to Porto. It can be seen that these areas away from the cities are unmanned, unstructured, sometimes industrial, and here there are more underpasses and more bridges. As we continue our journey, when we come across the graffiti's representations on the wall, we see that we are faced with a different possibility of space. This wall painting activity, which seems more illegal, can become a media where some artists and people raise their voices. On the other hand, with its color and vitality, the space here makes the perceptibility strong. It disrupts the ongoing repetition along the way and creates a space memory. Passing through here make us think about the activities that took place here before. Without any sign, roads are probably make us feel more lonely, bored, and lost. All in all, if you're riffing, can we say that emptiness is the best place for a new start?